Yeah, I was put this out there because I thought this was interesting. Dreamed an interesting dream August 8th, 2017. I dreamt about the solar eclipse, and it was supposed to be 90% where I was. But what I saw was the skies were cloudless or clear. And in the dream, the ionosphere weirdly reflected in the eastern sky while the sun was back behind me. It was a picture of what a total eclipse would look like. And it looked real weird. The moon over in the east, instead of looking like the moon, looked like an annular solar eclipse like I think we had back in 1984, if I remembered. It looked like that, and it just looked real weird and reflecting off the ionosphere. It said in the dream, when the moon was really fixing to cover the sun, then a voice said, something about me. But back to the dream, the moon showed up like a half a moon in the east, and the sun was about 2 o'clock position in the west. I heard the song by Supertramp, Logical Song, in the dream. And then a voice in the dream, it said, and now they have too much copyright and will get the other end. I woke up. But what does that dream that doesn't make any sense, what does it really mean? I'll just read this. I dreamt, the sun is the brightest, the moon is the dimmest. America's the eagle. The eagles told you Babylon has the moon in her eyes. That was in the song Witchy Woman, which was the sign to America. 9 is the number of finality and judgment. But was 100% the cloudless skies simply say storm you don't see coming, and lightnings, and coming new day from the east. The Bible says in the east shall see the lightning far as the west is from the east. And the moon that showed up like the sun in annularity was simply saying it's going to be a new year, annual. And I thought that was a pretty weird interpretation. And the reflecting off the ionosphere, the radio waves do it, and in the dream language, that's just a picture trying to get a message out, and it's trying to say, signal to the world the solar eclipse on August 21st, which it's supposed to happen next Monday. And it's a signal about the praise of the whole world, which is America, Babylon. It's fixing to be a new year and things is fixing to change. And the annularity that I saw is called Ring of Fire. It's simply saying, the nations around the Pacific, how they call all that the Ring of Fire, and that was weird. The half moon in the east was looking for a new day, and they all looked to Babylon for a lot of years for a new day and sadly never found it. Half measures, they don't work. The Son of God was brighter and the moon was dimmer. And, halfway just doesn't get it. And I might still go to hell, myself, and I'll be honest about it. 'Cause I'm not even worthy to judge myself, and this thing. And a song represents America's doings. The things that she does, her life is called a song. And sadly, in her heart, sadly, and I hate to tell this truth, but somebody has to, that Mystery Babylon got tread underfoot, and super forces, sadly, in heaven, America was judged for the sin and stuff, and see, the eclipse blocks out the light, and sin does the same thing, and my sin was bad enough that I professed in this dream. It said that for me it had gotten 90%, but it never did get it all, and it was really weird. And copyright in the dream simply meant that the churches copied all the rights, and a lot of them didn't get anything out of it. And yeah, it was copyrite, copyright. And it was religion and motions, and Babylon was that as a picture of that, and that kind of stuff. And that's the eclipse of 2017. And 3 years to 2020, and 4 to 2024. You have 7 years there, and it's pretty obvious there from 1967 to 2017. That was 50 years. That's not hard math to go look up and see what was going on. And Carbondale and all the things we see outside were carbon, and carbon a lot of times is black, and that's not a good color, cause when you have fire and stuff, it's burnt, and that's black. And so I had this. 4 times 3 is 12. 12's the number of government in heaven. And, not on a test, it was marked wrong. X marks it wrong. And X was the Greek letter for Christos. That was one definition of it. So, from 3/4 we get 7. And the phrase I was told spiritually in another dream, and literally I confess to having this, and it said, by the year 2025, it's all over. I saw a cat on the TV in this dream. It spiraled away like a tornado and it went black. I ran upstairs and voice said ruling and reigning, and then it said, by the year 2025, it's all over and they're ruling and reigning. And that was a dream I had. That's all I'll say about it. And I saw another dream. When I lived in Oklahoma, my wood stove was smashed and broken in pieces, and then I saw a lamp that had been thrown down and smashed in the rusted out wreckage of my wood stove, and come to find out that means furnace of affliction was done away with. And the Egyptian way, that left us and we didn't have to, and that's why the lamp was in there and darkened, and that's what that means. And 1,000-year reign's coming up, and so 2024, there's another one. If you're sick, they simply call it ill. It's a passive phrase. You were ill and not well. Those are the first 3 letters, and Cairo was a place in Egypt. I looked at that elevation, it said it was the lowest point, and sadly that's not a good sign for America. And just remember, X marks the spot, and Jesus will be coming back. And I quit church and I quit religion, and I got this message about it. The religion will leave you high and dry, the motions will leave you high and dry, and just doing the motions won't get it. and it was okay that I quit church and I quit religion and just went on. And you know, about America, a lot of the pastors, I don't mention any names, a lot of the pastors aren't telling the truth, and somebody needs to tell the truth that America, we're in serious trouble. And I know I'll be judged for all the words I say. I know it's real. I know hell is real. And I profess again, I didn't like what I saw in my visions of hell. It was very frightening. And yeah, it was real. And what the Bible said, was what I saw. And I've seen some more, been shown some more since then. And it was worse, and I'm just saying hell was very frightening to experience, and I wish I could say something better, but if I wasn't, sadly I would be lying, and I'm going to be held accountable, for the things I say. And about America, somebody needs to tell the truth. She's Mystery Babylon, and things are not okay in America, and it's in bad shape. And for another name of a city that I specifically dreamed, just go watch some news about North Korea, and there you have it. I dreamt it 2 years ago, and just because I dreamt something, I don't want everybody to think I'm trying to look good, because I'm not. I wish that I didn't have to record this, I didn't have to say this. But the eclipse of 2017 sent eclipses the light. The horrible storm comes up from hell, and that's the south. And the second eclipse comes up from the south because, saying the bad storm at that time is over. From 2017 to 2024, we have 7 years, and 2017, probably a Jubilee year, but I just say just go pray about it, and don't seek me, go seek God. And my sin is horrible, and I had messed up really bad. I had to quit religion because I wasn't getting anything out of it, and that's the main illness of Mystery Babylon's religion. And I quit it. And just remember, with the 2 eclipses, X marks the spot. America had an illness in that name of that state. The first 3 letters, it was right there in front of you. And the number 39 represents sickness and disease. 39, and Babylon's holding, but not for much longer, because 40 and the number of testing, and that's over. And go read Isaiah 47, the Statue of Liberty, and a week from today, the first eclipse is supposed to happen, and I think it said Illinois was 1818, and Babylon, see, gets a double portion. That's Revelation 18. I'm just saying, think like children. That's all right there. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure all this stuff out. And I'm just saying that there's trouble coming, and America is not okay, and the church is in bad shape, and things are not good. And I just gave a heads up, in this video, and wish I could say something more positive, but I can't at this time. And the one thing that is positive is you don't have to go to hell. And just remember the 2 eclipses. X marks the spot. Jesus is coming back.